I once loved, I once sought to be loved, I once walked in the Father's ways, I once delighted in my soul, following strictly the commandments written of the old relics. Then I slipped into the darkness. It comforted for the loss of my first true love, and into the darkness I strayed further from the light, and deep into the jungle of my own making, saw a dark abyss. For a moment I stared, and surely it stared back at me. Now deep in the abyss, with darkness all over me, I wonder what I have become. I wondered if there is ever a chance I will see the light again. The world is always kind enough as beforehand. It gives each man a chance to choose, but soon. Should you wander in your thoughts, then brethren complain not for what it will choose for you. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Disregard for God only leads man to insanity. Trying to fill a broken jar with wine can be quite a tiring and non-rewarding task, as it is to man who lacks discipline, trying to quench his passions with vanities of this earth. After much thought, the king said, "Lucky is the man who never existed under the sun. He never loved, never hated, never rejoiced nor doomed by sorrow, never had to bury a loved one, for this is the man who can and ever will be free." They threw me in their deepest, darkest dungeon, and in its depth I laughed at their efforts to imprison me. For no barrier can bind a free mind. It's a tragedy to be lost in your own mind, for no man can help you find your way back to reason. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy in life is when men are afraid of the light. A man of ill manners, Suriri, will forever watch his back, for in his mind he knows the devil plots ill on men who follow him. "When is a man free?" asked the young monk. "In his casket," answered the old sage. "What is the most a man can gain?" the young monk asked. "Nothing," the old sage answered. "What is the most a man can lose?" "Nothing," answered the old sage, and with reason he argued. "Naked a man comes to thee, and naked he departs from thee. Nothing under the sun belongs to man. How then can you gain or lose what was never yours? The emptiness you feel in your soul is your own doing. Remember, the Master said to the cripple, 'Arise and be on your way,' so should you. Some were born with silver spoons in their mouths, but if you continually eat sugar, it ceases to be sweet. Too much honey makes a man's throat sore. Still, it's pure luck to be born into riches. Salt, on the other hand, cracks the lips, and not large quantities is needed for it to kill a man. Poverty tears a man from rib to rib, gobbles him up, swallow him whole, and bury him never to be remembered. It's quite a chore to keep a flame burning in order to cast out the darkness, but should you choose to fight darkness with darkness, then you must be willing to become the darker darkness that ravages dusk into dead of night, so dark that no man can see. The price, however, is losing that one thing you own, your soul. What are you? Who are you? When are you? It's funny no man can answer these questions in truth, and that none can define self. But we walk around with perceptions and ideologies handed to us by the former generation, and we cultivate this during our livelihoods, and gladly pass it to the coming generation. So in real sense, no man shall ever know the truth, if perception of it is always fed to his young mind before he learns to think for himself. It takes a while for the rot to reach the heart. Life is like lion charging towards man. Philosophy is like a sword a man can use to defend himself. It's normal because it happens to everyone, death. The man adorned in a robe said, "Thank God this and that calamity didn't befall unto you." And I stood and walked away, wondering how lowly a man can regard his Creator. Earth rotating on its axis, has more than enough for each man and beast. Yet the number of hungry, homeless, and poor outweighs the rich by great ratios. We hoard from our brethren what we needn't have, laying claim to resources many rely on for our own sake. I find it funny the great depths men go to cause misery on their fellow men, and yet blame this on their creator. Many wish to change the world but ended up destroying it, causing much pain and affliction to their fellow men.